3000. We're going to have jumpers below in about 5 minutes. Jumpers away.
Yeah, bro, that was it.
That was it. Yeah, Johnny.
Matt Ryan for AvWeb here, joined today by Jeff Provenzano and Jon DeVore. Both of these guys are with Red Bull, Wingsuit. I'm not sure quite what the right term is. Pilots, jumpers. You can by all means correct me. It's a bit of a niche I'm not the most familiar with, but you guys do some pretty cool stuff. Recently, or most recently, I guess, there was a jump with the Northern Lights. I'm sure we'll have some video for that here to go along with it. But if you guys can just kind of introduce yourselves, I guess maybe start with Jeff and then Jon, kind of your background, how you guys got to working with each other, and then we'll get into what you guys did here pretty recently with that most recent jump.
Hey, yeah, what's up? Jeff Provenzano. I would call myself a Red Bull skydiver. That'd be the word I would use. But yeah, wingsuiting is what we were doing up in Alaska, and yeah, it was a very, years in the making of that project, and I'd say 4 or 5 years of just talking about it, attempts, planning, failed attempts of going up there, and finally, just this past weekend, all the stars aligned, and we were able to get up there, and yeah, that's
in a nutshell.
Cool.
Well, so Jon, I guess just tell me about yourself real quick. We'll get into all the details of the flight or the jump here in a minute, but
Yep, sweet. Yeah, so my name's Jon DeVore, captain of the Red Bull Air Force team. It's an official team name. The team kind of encompasses all things air sports. And yeah, was stoked to join Jeff on this project, being a guy from Alaska originally. It was super special to me, so it was a really full circle moment.
Awesome. So the jump took place in Alaska, right? I've seen a little bit of the video already with Northern Lights behind you and all that. What I guess first of all, have you guys worked together before? Is this y'all's first time working as a group, or how does that work?
I've known Jon for 25 years.
Don't date us, Jeff.
I don't know, not an exact number, but long time. Jon and I have been really good friends. Just growing up in the sport together and working together on a professional level for forever also. So, I mean, we've been on teams for a very long time. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess just tell me about this particular project you guys did. I briefly introduced it. You guys can obviously do that much better than I can. So I'll let y'all just dive in with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kick it off, and Jeff, you can jump in whenever you want. But I mean, the project was kind of originally, I guess you'd say, it was Jeff's brainchild. He had a mission years ago to try to jump in all 50 states, and I'll let him elaborate on that. But basically, when it came to his last state, a state that's special to me because it's where I'm from, Alaska, he was adamant that he wasn't going to do something without me with him, which I appreciate. Because it as he said, it was years in the making, and everywhere from kind of like a surfer looks at a surf trip trying to chase the swells. We were trying to chase a lot of different things, from the Aurora Borealis firing at the right time where there was good weather, the right time where all of our schedules aligned. I went through a big injury that took me out for a few years, and Jeff was nice enough to be patient and wait for me to get back on my feet. So it was kind of that's how I looked at the project. I'm sure Jeff has his own view on it because it was his brainchild.
I mean, it was that's pretty much it in a nutshell right there. Jon said it all, but yeah, the 50 states thing that started early on, almost around the time that I started skydiving, just and seeing the sport and the network of drop zones around the country. I realized like this was a means to also traveling and seeing the world and seeing places, to get to go to all these skydiving centers. And I've had the opportunity to jump in lots of states, not just at skydiving centers, but in random locations all over the country, cities, downtown cities, a lot of the times for exhibition jumps. So I was able to check a lot of those boxes off, and somewhere towards, maybe 35 states or so, I started realizing like, hey, you're kind of like almost jumped in every state. And, it was never a true mission to go and get them all, but I started to realize like this is actually happening. You're getting close to jumping in all these 50 states, and that was kind of like a dream early on. And I just started to make it a point to go after it, one by one. And yeah, John kind of said it for the rest. In Alaska being the last one, I couldn't do Alaska without him. I mean, it's his home state. We've been jumping together forever. I've been listening to stories about Alaska. I've never even been to Alaska, so all my curiosities and everything were always asking John what it was like growing up there. What did you do? And just always fascinated from his stories. It just, to me, truly was the last frontier. And, John was from there. So that was just like, it's very cool, to just kind of like dream about this place and dream about it like through some of his storytelling.
Yeah. So where specifically in Alaska did the jump take place?
Just outside Palmer, Alaska, and then Nick River.
Okay. I won't pretend to be an Alaskan geography expert or anything, but it was a nighttime jump. Was this like a part of the 6 months of night situation, or did you guys have some daylight to work with to do prep or anything, or what goes behind a night jump like that?
Yeah, I mean, we went into it, being we had never jumped that location before. There was some prep in the daytime, which was great. Everywhere from going up in the helicopter, getting our eyes on it. We did a day jump just so we could get familiar, because we realized we were super remote. So, being up in the helicopter, it's just a black canvas down there, a couple little lights from a few cabins and a few residents, but it's a little over like an hour north of Anchorage, and we're, you know, I guess you'd say out in the middle of nowhere. So there was a lot that went into it. At a location like that at night, you can't have an out landing. You have to land where you're supposed to land, or it could be really detrimental for that matter, because it was freezing. So we really had to make sure we knew where we were at and we had the right references.
Yeah, I assume. I mean, you have some kind of lit target or something that you're going for.
Yeah,
No,
the
we
landing
just
area
used
we
the
had.
force.
Yeah, just the force. Yeah, we had some lights in the landing area set up. Um, and we kind of nailed it. Originally, when we were planning this, we were planning this to do this way more into like the dead of winter, where it would be mostly night. Um, but we kind of nailed it. This time of year, there's pretty much like 12 hours of night, 12 hours of daylight. So enough night to still have good opportunities to witness the northern lights when they're popping, because I guess they could be going off during the day. So if you have too much daylight, there still might be there, but you just can't see them. So I think we were right on that edge of the window of, if there starts to be more light. One of our jumps we did closer to 10 p.m., 10 or 11 p.m. So in another month or two, that would not have happened. The northern lights would have been popping, but it would have been just too light at that hour to even see them. So we kind of we kind of nailed it right at a good window of like having some daytime to work with and go do some prep jumps during the day, and then also having a significant amount of darkness still.
So as far as the like getting into this in the first place, right? I'm a pilot. I love being up in the air. I might consider going bungee jumping or something. Skydiving would be like too much. Wingsuit, I can't even imagine. Like, how do you go through that progression of, hey, I like being in the sky, to I'm gonna like be the airplane, so to speak.
Well, bungee jumping's dangerous. You're crazy.
You know,
I mean, the stair step's pretty, I guess it's pretty obvious when you say it out loud, but if you like the idea of skydiving, you go to your local drop zone, you do a tandem, you get hooked, you learn to skydive, and then it's basically just like any sport. It's a stair step of progression. You don't just go right into wingsuiting or right into that, the harder, more complex disciplines. And so it's just, like Jeff and I have the same story pretty much of, we started with just the love of human flight and chasing traditional skydiving. And then what most people don't know within our sport is there's a lot of disciplines, and the sport branches out in a lot of little mini sports. And, when you haven't the history we have and the number of years and jumps we have, it's inevitable that you're going to kind of tap into a lot of those different disciplines, and you start getting hooked by certain ones. And, we have the same story of through the years, we might have spent 3-4 years focusing on one, and then another one catches our eye. And, eventually after all the years combined, for the lack of better words, you're a jack of all trades in the world of air sports.
So I assume, with being with Red Bull, this is your full-time gig, if I had to guess?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all entrepreneurs, but it's all one way or another revolves around what we do within the world of Red Bull and air sports.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you guys have done a lot of other projects. I know, you were saying that you've done, this was your 50th state, right? So, working together or separately, do you guys have some other favorite projects that you've done, and, kind of, banner, jumps that really stand out to you?
I think geographically, like, if we're looking from a geographical standpoint, I think the really cool jump was John jumping in my home state in New York. We did a wingsuit flight over New York City some years back, so that was kind of the opposite of this story, going to his hometown. So
And that one on accident was on the opening day of the Freedom Tower. We didn't even mean to do that.
yeah, so that was super iconic on so many levels. And I mean, this is not a jump that you get permission for easily. So, you don't see skydiving happening over New York City on any given
Yeah.
day. Almost never. I mean, literally never.
Yeah, it's hard to answer that though, because through the years, we're so blessed within, the world of Red Bull and the doors it opens. We've been involved in so many iconic projects that are full of pinch me moments that, it's like Jeff said in New York, a lot of locations you'd never get the yes, you'd never get the permission, but within the team of Red Bull as a company, and then the athletes' visions, it's just amazing what we've been able to pull off, from flying over New York City to, I did a really cool project years ago back in Alaska, where I got to showcase a little hybrid version of our sport called speed riding, where it's big mountain skiing with little parachutes over your head, and got to go up in the Alaska range to do that. And the list just goes on. I mean, we've been really lucky.
Yeah, I've definitely happened upon videos of some of those in the past. It's wild stuff, and I'm sure we'll try to see if we can, show some of those here as well. But, yeah, fascinating stuff. Do you guys have any upcoming projects that you could give us hints about or anything like that?
Ooh, cat out of the bag stuff, huh? I mean, right now we're pretty inundated with, it's the beginning of our really busy demo season, the Red Bull Air Force team. I think we have close to 50 shows on the calendar right now. So a lot of those shows are they feel projecty to us, because we always try to showcase our sport in new ways every time. So we've been working on some new acts for the big air shows of like the Sun and Funs and Oshkoshes of the world. So that's pretty much full speed ahead for us at the moment. And then there are some fun projects going on, but we like to keep those a little under the wraps till they get a little bit more legs underneath them.
No, that's fair. I mean, so I'll be there at Sun and Fun. Definitely be looking out for you guys. Any other kind of, besides, Oshkosh, any other names people could look out for if they wanted to see you locally?
We'll be in Florida quite a bit, not just Sun and Fun. We're going to be there in and around the F1 and Fort Lauderdale air shows also. So there's like a lot going on in like a 1 month window down in Florida. So Fort Lauderdale, F1.
Yeah, the F1 being Miami.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a fun one. It's kind of a whirlwind 10 days for us, where we do a big night jump party at the Hard Rock, the big hotel that's shaped like a guitar with, we start Saturday night there, F1 Sunday, and then we usually have some fun on the the down days that lead up to the Fort Lauderdale Air Show the next weekend. So that one's quite busy. And right before F1, got invited for the first time to jump into Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby. So it's kind of pedal to the metal for the 2-week window right there.
Yeah, well, a busy life, but a fun one there.
Yeah, but air show wise, we're all around the country, whether it's with Kirby Chambliss, Kevin Coleman in the Edge 540s, and Aaron Fitzgerald in the BO 105 or acrobatic helicopter. Combined with the entire team, almost every major air show, if we're not the full team, there's splinters of the team at every show.
Well, we'll go ahead and kind of wrap it up here. But if you guys have any closing thoughts you want to leave us with, or points we didn't hit that might be interesting to highlight.
I mean, I'll jump in and then Jeff can close it out. I mean, a big thing that I'd like to highlight and just really pat on the back the Red Bull, media crew, the photographers, the videographers. We were the athletes and the talent in the sky, but really without their expertise and knowing how to do all the camera settings and their vision on how to capture it, this project would not have been what it turned out to be. So, we might get the attention being the athletes on camera, but wow, those guys, they really stepped it up and they brainstormed with us over the years on how to capture it. So I really want to applaud everybody involved.
Nice.
Yeah, John kind of just took what I wanted to say. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's just like goes without saying. I mean, it would not have been possible without all the people, the rest of the band. So it's not just the lead front man. That's always like that's what you always see, but it takes a lot more, and even more that there were people involved in this that weren't even in Alaska with us, on the Red Bull side that made it happen, and made the approvals happen.
And Wyatt, our helicopter pilot, we were his first people he ever dropped. He's never dropped jumpers. And it had to have been super intense for him because not only was he dropping skydivers for the first time, but it was at night and not everybody has been in helicopters, but they rely a lot on visual references and things like that to fly at night. And, he kept his cool and it was just an ace up there. So that could have really made the project make, a hard detour if the pilot was not comfortable. But, those boys up there in AK knew what to do.
Yeah, here's Wyatt Boone from
Yeah.
Alpha Air.
Yeah. Stuck it for us.
Pretty awesome dude.
Well, some baptism by fire there.
And he waited up till like,
Yeah.
5 a.m. for us too.
Yeah, night one was
like
tough.
but
That was tough.
not even complaining, just totally chill. That was cool.
Well, definitely an awesome experience, and appreciate you guys sharing some of that with us. I'm sure there's plenty more that could be said, but I want to be respectful of your time as well. So, thank you for being here, guys. This has been Jeff Provenzano and Jon DeVore with Matt Ryan for AvWeb. We will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Go skydiving, Matt.
I'll try.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.